Hey guys, we're going to work a little bit on the skill of subtraction with regrouping, which is just the fancy vocabulary term for borrowing. And this is what we were practicing before we got out for school. So we're going to do a couple practice problems together. We're going to go through the steps that we do, and then I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time to pause the video and work out two problems of your own, and then we'll come back together and check those. We're going to just start this week with basic computation, and then next week when we meet again, we will work on some word problems. So computation is just numbers, just the skill. So we're going to start with first 567 minus 488. And something that we talked a lot about in class is the little phrase, bigger bottom borrow, which meant if we had bigger numbers on the bottom of our subtraction problem, we had to stop and borrow or regroup. So the way we figure out if we have those bigger numbers on the bottom is we start where we always start, in the ones place, and I compare my two numbers, and here I see that I have an 8 who is larger on the bottom. I'm going to put this marker up. So I'm going to circle this 8. Now when I come to my tens place, I see that I have an 8 on the bottom and a 6 up top. So again, I have my bigger number on the bottom, which means I'm going to borrow. So I want to circle that so I have that reminder. And then when I come to my hundreds, I have a 5 on the top and a 4 on the bottom. And in this situation, my bigger number is up top. But just looking at this problem, do I have any bigger numbers on the bottom? Yeah, we've got 2, which means we are at some point going to borrow or regroup. Now, we always start in the ones, so when I look in the ones, I know I can't take away 8 from 7. So I'm going to come next door to my tens, and that's where I'm going to start the borrowing process. I'm going to take one 10 rod away. So instead of having 6, I have 5. And we learned my 10 rod right here is made up of 10 ones units. So that means I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those 10 little unit cubes make up a 10 rod. And when I'm borrowing, all that means is I'm taking this and I'm breaking it up into the individual unit cubes. So I get 10 extra unit cubes. So I'm going to add those 10 cubes to my 7. And we remember 7 plus 10 more is 17. Now, sometimes we like to go skip ahead, but we're going to stop here in the ones because I'm ready to subtract. So I want to go each place value at a time. So when I have 17 minus 8, some of us still are drawing circles and subtracting the amount, and that's okay. There are other strategies we can use. I can count up from 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, which is 9. Okay, now I come to my tens, and I've got 5 minus 8, so I still have a bigger number on the bottom, so I'm going to have to go to the hundreds now, and I'm going to have to borrow from there. So I have a 5 in my hundreds, and I take 1 away. And if we remember my hundreds flat, when we drew them in class, we drew them as those really big squares, and they were made up of 10 of these 10 rods. So when I break that up, I'm just getting 10 10 rods. Something that a lot of us started to realize is every time I regroup, and I give to the place value behind, I'm always adding 10 more. So I'm going to add 10 10 rods here. So 5 plus 10, 15. Now I can subtract, and this time I'm going to actually just count back. So I've got my 8 fingers, and I'm going to say 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. And here, I don't have to worry about regrouping. I have the same number. 4 take away 4 would be 0. Now, we also practice ways that I could check my work when I subtract. And if we remember, when I check my work, I take my bottom number and my difference. Remember, my difference was the answer to my subtraction problem. I take those two numbers and I actually add them together. And if we remember, they should give me this top number. So I'm going to actually do that. This is a way to check it. So I'm going to get rid of what I had here on the side. Okay, so I'm going to do 488 plus 79. And I always want to write my numbers stacking them. Okay. Now when I'm adding, remember we don't have to circle anything. We're just going to start those still in the ones place. So 8 plus 9 more gives me 17. So I put my 7, and remember that means I have extra ones. I can carry them over and build another 10 rod. So here I'm going to make the addition a little bit easier to get a doubles fact. I'm going to say 7 plus 1 more is 8, and 8 plus 8 gives me 16. And then I'm going to carry over again. 4 plus 1 more gives me a 5. And if I notice, this number here matches this up here, which means my difference should be correct. I'm going to do one other problem for you guys, and this problem is actually going to go into the thousands place. So right now with this problem, we were only in the hundreds. So let's do one where we go into the thousands. Okay, so I want to do the problem 6,397 subtract 2,976. Make that a little darker. Okay, so first thing I need to do is circle my bigger numbers to see if I'm going to borrow. So I would start in the ones, have a bigger number up top, bigger number in the tens, the 9 is bigger, so up top. And then here, I've got a 3 at top and a 9 on the bottom in the hundreds. So I do have a bigger number down here. And then now I'm in the 1, tens, hundreds. This is my thousands place, okay? My 6 is bigger than my 2. So if I look here, I do have one bigger number on the bottom. So if I remember, bigger bottom borrow, at some point, I'm going to be borrowing at least one time. Everything else, is, since I have the bigger numbers up top, I get to just subtract straight down. So 7 minus 6, 1. 9 minus 7, 2. But here I come in that hundreds place, I can't subtract 9 from 3. So I come here, and it's the same steps that we've always taken, okay? This 6 will become a 5, and as we started to realize, when we're regrouping, we're always giving that place value behind 10 more so that we can subtract. So I'm going to give 10 more to 3, which would be 13. Now I can do 13 minus 9, the bigger numbers up top. So I'm going to count up, starting at 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13 minus 9 is 4. 5 minus 2. Now for this, I can again check my work, just like we have been practicing. I take my bottom two numbers, what I subtracted, and the answer, the difference. And I'm going to add those together. When I add them together, it should give me my top number, okay? So I'm going to stack them. Okay, 6 plus 1, 7. 7 plus 2 more, 9. 9 plus 4 would give me 13. So I'm going to carry. And then again, I'm going to make it a little easy to make a doubles fact for myself. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 3 more is 6. So if I look, my sum here matched that top number, which means my subtraction was right. Remember, if I'm getting a different answer down here, I have to go back, I have to check my work. I did something incorrect. So what I'm going to let you guys do, oops, I got a little bit erased, is I'm going to give you a few minutes and you can pause the video. There are two problems that you are going to do, 542 minus 368, and then you can come right here and do 3,880 minus 2,926. When you come back on, we'll quickly go over the problems and the solution to them, and then I'll just let you guys know if I'll leave any activities for you to complete. So take a second, pause it, and then when you come back, I'll go over the answer with you. So at this point, you should have taken a second, paused the video, worked it out on your own. So let's go ahead and see if we get similar answers. So I'm going to start first with this problem. And the first thing that you should have done is you should have circled where all your bigger numbers were. So we should have had the 8 circled, the 6 in the tens, 5 in the hundreds, okay? Bigger numbers are on the bottom. We're going to have to do some borrowing, okay? So I can't start subtracting yet in my ones, so I come to my tens and I take away a 10. I give 10 more to the 2, so 2 plus 10 is 12. Now I can subtract. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Should have 4 here. Now I can't do 3 minus 6, so again, I'm going to borrow. I come to the hundreds, take 1 away, give 10 more to that 3. So 3 plus 10, 13. And I can subtract 6 from it. So I can just count back 6 if I want. So 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. And then 4 minus 1. Now, just because we want this video not to be super long, you could have checked it if you wanted to by adding your difference and this number here, and it should have given you 542. If you made a mistake anywhere, hopefully now that we've gone over it together, you caught where your mistake was. So let's quickly look at this last problem. Here, again, I'm going to circle where are my bigger numbers. So I have a bigger number in the 6 is on the bottom in the ones. I come to my tens, the 8 is larger up top. My hundreds, the 9 is larger. And in my thousands, the 3 is larger. So I'm going to have to borrow some in this problem. I've got some big numbers on the top, some of the numbers are on the bottom. So bigger bottom, we're going to borrow. Here I'm starting with a bigger number on the bottom, so I already have to regroup in the ones. I come to the 8, take 1 away. That makes that a 7. Again, I'm giving 10 ones to my ones place. So 10 plus 0 is 10. Now I can do that. 10 minus 6 is 4. 7 is still larger than 2, so I can subtract straight down. Here, I cannot do 9 minus 8, so I come to the thousands, same steps. Take 1 away, give 10 more to that smaller number. So 10 plus 8, which is 18. And 18 minus 9 gives me 9. 2 minus 2 gives me 0. So hopefully your answers matched up with mine. If not, you found where you made your mistake. What I would like for you to do is if you have any free time, I am going to put a link to an activity that practices subtraction with regrouping in the thousands place. I also sent home some packets for you guys to do some optional work so that you don't lose the skills that we've been practicing in my classroom. I know you've got a lot of stuff to do with work from your regular teachers. So pace yourself, maybe do one activity in that packet. The activity that I post to Dojo is completely optional, but it is there for review. And then don't forget, if you have any questions or you still need some help, we've got office hours on Friday, and there's been a link that's been posted for the virtual office hours. But I will see you guys next Monday.